Say yay if you can. Anyone hearing me? No? Yes? Kind of in between, not really sure. Maybe I switched something off. No, there's a green light burning.
Yes, they are saying yes.
Yes? Okay, great.
Yes.
Welcome, guys. Hey. All right, so we're going to cool down. If you just followed the previous class, this is going to be a 180 compared to that energy. We're going to really slow it down. And today I want to focus a little bit on our lower back area, also the front of the hip area, this area, especially if you've been working at home all week, might feel a little tight or might feel a little irritated. So we're going to see if we can create a little bit of movement and a little bit of space again for the lower back. So today I wanted to use a block, but if you don't have that, I brought a book. So you could also use like a thick book. It might feel a little hard on the body, so if that's the case for you, just use a blanket or a towel or something like that. And we're going to use that block or book straight away. And just to make myself, feel what you guys are feeling, I'm going to use the book. So we're going to start with a small meditation, but we're going to do it lying down. Placing the book on the floor, clipping this thing off again, and you're going to roll down and place your hips onto the book or onto the block. And you want the book to be right where the tailbone is. So it's pushing, shouting. So you're pushing the tailbone up, pushing the hips up. And what this does, it creates like a little arch for the lower back. And that's what we want. And you want the whole body to be relaxed here. Your arms can be out to the side. And then just pretend you're in Shavasana already. Closing your eyes if you like. We're just going to take a few deep in and exhalations. And try to find your breath. Maybe slow it down a little bit if you're still panting. All right. And then take the time to draw all your attention towards your body. Start to notice what is happening in this moment. Which parts of your body are relaxing here? And which parts of the body are maybe struggling to let go of some tension? And just becoming aware of what's happening. And taking the time, using every exhale to melt more weight onto the mat. You want to glue your body down onto that block, down onto the mat. And with every exhale, you feel the body melt around that block. You feel like everything wants to sink onto the mat. We're going to go through a little body scan, using this scan to become aware of any areas in the body that are still not fully relaxed, that need a little bit of extra attention to release, to soften. And you can start by bringing your awareness to your feet. Notice anything you feel happening in or around the feet. Notice if there's any tension left in the feet or in the toes. And see if you can let the feet melt more onto the mat. Maybe let the toes melt more out to the side. Softening with your exhale. And moving the awareness up to the calves. And again, noticing anything you feel happening in the calves or around them. Using the exhale to release any tension that might be there. To let the calves melt more onto the mat. Allowing them to be heavy. And shifting your awareness to your thighs, your hamstrings. Becoming aware of how the upper legs feel. And maybe they're feeling a little warm, maybe they're burning from the previous class. See if you can surrender to this heavy feeling. If you can let more weight melt down towards the mat using the exhale. And shifting your awareness to your hips, to your glutes. And notice anything that is going on here. Maybe you're still squeezing the glutes slightly. Or you notice anything else happening in this area. And again, using the exhale to soften, to become heavy. Shifting your awareness towards your torso, your belly, your lower back, upper back. And become aware of any tension that might be in this part of the body. Maybe you feel restriction with the breath. Just become aware of anything that is happening. And using the exhale to let the torso melt more onto the mat. Let the lower back and the belly melt more down towards the mat. And then coming to the neck. Becoming aware of tension that might be in the neck. See if you can let that part of the body become heavier as well. And release some of that tension. Softening the face. Becoming aware of anything you might feel in this area. The face, the head, around the ears. And any muscle you feel tightening in the face, see if you can relax it. If you can soften the expression of the face. Allowing that part of the body to become heavy and relaxed as well. Moving the awareness to the shoulders. Maybe that connection between the neck and the shoulders, becoming aware of what's going on here. And then see if you can let the shoulders melt further down to the mat. You can relax the tissue going from the shoulders to the neck. And the awareness moves down to the upper arms. Noticing what is going on in this area. And releasing with the next exhale. Allowing the arms to melt further down. move the awareness to the forearms, to the wrist. And notice which area, what is happening in this area. And if you're able to relax more, see if you can do so on the next exhale. Allowing the forearms to melt even more onto the floor. And shifting your awareness to your hands, to the fingers, to the palm. And if there was any tension left in this area of the body, try to release some of that with the next exhale. Softening the hands and letting those be heavy as well. And I will take a few more deep in and exhalations, filling the belly and the chest all the way up with air. And using these deeper in and exhalations to kind of wake the body back up. You can slowly start to blink the eyes open. Start to bring some movement back to the hands, to the feet. Let those movements become a little bigger. Moving the wrists and the ankles, the knees, the legs. Slowly starting to bend the knees, placing the feet down. And then we'll first remove our book. And it could feel a little weird for the lower back as you try and lift the hips up. Remove the block or the book and then come down onto the floor, taking a moment to notice what is happening in the lower back. Because we spent quite a few minutes on the book, the tissue in the lower back has had a little bit of time to start moving, to loosen up. This could feel a little weird. We're going to bring a little bit of movement back just to relax and ease that area of the lower back. When it's starting to feel normal again, you can draw the knees to your chest, massaging the lower back onto the floor. And in your own way, you can come up to sitting. You could roll over to your side or you could roll yourself up, whatever feels good for you. And we're going to come to sitting. All right. Now from here, place your feet together. Let the feet come quite far away from you. And with our next pose, we're going to first release in that lower back area. So just that area where we create a little arch, we're now going to bend it the other way around, creating a little rounding. As you let the head come down, you're going to bring a rounding in the lower back. And slowly let the head come all the way down. If this feels a little awkward still for the lower back, you could create some soft rocking motions just to ease your body further into the pose. And when you feel like you found your position, you cannot go any deeper, you just keep the body still. And again, you try and relax. And you stay down, and I want you to focus in this posture on allowing that lower back to be super round. And after the lower back, the whole spine is going to be super round. And as you stay here, you let the muscles in the back relax. And as this happens, the head is slowly going to come down more. Another thing that's going to happen as you stay here and you relax the legs is that the knees are going to come more down. And as the knees go down, the belly goes down, you're going to get a deeper opening in the hips as well. That's not our main focus, but that's an added benefit in this posture. If you feel that one of the knees is starting to ache or you don't feel comfortable in the hips, you can place your book right underneath your leg. Or if it's too much, you can also use your hands and kind of support your head. Make sure you don't go too deep. And then using the breath to keep you calm. Using the breath to help you melt further into the pose. You can imagine with every exhale how the body can relax more and melt down more towards the floor. And you're just allowing gravity to pull you further down. And the more you're able to relax the muscles in the body, in the spine, in the legs, the more gravity is going to be able to pull you down. And that's what we want here in these flex postures. We want the body to soften, the muscles to soften, and we want gravity to do most of the work. So you're going to continue to relax and melt down, constantly reminding your body to relax. And after a while, you'll feel that even those muscles that you thought were already relaxed, they can relax even more. You feel that the body is able to melt down more. And that's because that connective tissue in the body, this tissue that's quite tight, it takes a while before it can move. But when it starts to move, you get that sensation of melting deeper and deeper and deeper without the pose feeling more intense or without the stretch feeling more intense. So that's what we want. We want constantly to relax, to soften, and we want gravity to kind of pull the body further down. And then without any effort, you notice the body's going deeper. The body's going further. Maybe it's getting more comfortable to be here. And you could focus on letting the breath become even softer. All right. Now we're going to stay here for a last deep inhale. And last deep exhale. And slowly on your next inhale, lift your head up. Roll yourself back up. And then let your knees come back together. You're going to take a moment, feel what's going on in the hips and the spine. And then maybe bring a little bit of movement back. Just to go back to feeling a bit more comfortable and relaxed. Again, you could feel very stiff coming out of your pose. All right. Now we worked our lower back in 2 directions already. First arching, then rounding. And now we're going to see if we can create a little bit of space on the sides of the hip as well, sides of the lower back. We're going to do this by extending the right leg, and 2 options here. Either you bring your left leg in, or if you are a bit more open in the hips and in the hamstrings, so you can sit comfortably like this, you could bring both legs out as well. If you feel like you're falling back here and you're really not that comfortable, just bring it back in. All right. Then we're going to bring that right hand to the inside of the right leg. Left arm can point to the left. Taking a deep inhale, letting the left arm come all the way up and over your head towards that right foot. Good. Now here are many options. If one of the arms starts to hurt or the neck is starting to hurt, you can always place one or both hands onto your head. Looks a little funny, but doesn't matter. All we want to do here is create that stretch coming from the left side of the hip, going all the way along the side of the body, maybe to the shoulder, or all the way towards the pinky. All right, you find your position. If you are with both legs open, it's going to look similar. Here you want to focus on grounding the left side of the hip down, left sitting bone down. And automatically, what I do, and many of you do as well, is flex my toes. But that's not something we want. We want to keep them relaxed. We want to stay soft. And we want gravity to do all of the work here. So don't worry about alignment or what it looks like. Just try and find that stretch for the side of the body, finding it on the left side from the hip, going all the way up to the shoulder or up towards the pinky. And when you found that stretch, you focus again on softening, on relaxing. We're going to try and let gravity pull you down towards that right leg. And make sure you feel that stretch on the side of the body. When that stretch starts to move away, you just create space to move deeper into the pose. So if you're quite deep already, you could wiggle your shoulder, let it come in front of your leg so that you have more space to melt down. If you have your hand underneath your head, just let the elbow come a little further. Make sure you still feel something is happening. And like this, constantly you're finding a position where you feel something is happening, but you're still comfortable. And if you like, you could do that little body scan again. Starting with the feet, noticing if the feet are relaxed or maybe you're flexing again. Try not to do that. Focusing on the legs, trying to keep those relaxed. Keeping the thighs soft, the hamstrings soft. Focusing on the hips. Really making sure both sides of the hips are grounding down. Or maybe one is lifting a little bit, but make sure your focus stays with grounding them down. Continuously making that side of the hip heavy. Allowing the upper body to be heavy. And we're going to stay here for another deep inhale. And another deep exhale. At first, that left arm is going to come all the way back by your side. And slowly you're going to lift your upper body up. Coming back to center. Ooh, feels a little weird usually. Notice how the left and the right side of the body feels. Now we'll move directly into the same posture on the other side. So if you have your legs wide, just keep them the way they are. If you had one knee bent, bend the right leg in this case, bringing the left hand towards the left inner leg, right arm to the side of you and all the way up and over towards the left. All right, coming into that same posture on this side. And again, we're gonna try and find a place where we're in a balance between comfort and still feeling like something is happening. You want to feel that stretch on the side of the body, moving from the right hip in this case, through the side, up to the shoulder, and then maybe all the way up towards the pinky. As if we're lengthening the right side of the body. Maybe if your lower back was very irritated from sitting, or maybe if it was very tired, you feel this stretch mostly pulling towards that lower back area. Just see if you can find a balance between that stretch that you feel, that sensation, maybe some slight discomfort, but still being able to stay still. Stay where you are and focus on your breath. And then see if there's space for you to melt further down towards the leg. This upper arm is starting to be heavy. Just let it rest onto your head. And continue to be heavy. And again, you could scan your body. Become aware of that foot. Not flexing the toes, keeping the thighs relaxed, keeping the hips down, and the upper body heavy and soft. Alright, we'll stay here for 3 last breaths. Really try to use these last breaths to let the whole body melt further towards that left leg. Staying for 2 more deep breaths. And 1 more deep in and exhalation. Alright. Now first, letting that right arm come down, back beside your body. And then slowly move the whole body back to center. Alright. You can bring the legs together, just taking a moment, noticing what is happening in the body. Notice the left side and the right side of you. And maybe here, to get some movement back, you want to move the shoulders or the neck. Maybe you feel the need to come into a small little twist. Just doing something that feels nice again. All right. Okay. Then bringing the hands down in front of you on the mat. We're going to come up. Don't worry, we won't stay in a down dog, but I want you to lift your hips up. And if you like it, you could stretch out for a moment in your down dog. But if you don't like that feeling, just walk the hands towards the feet. And we're all going to end up here. So take your time, walk your hands to your feet. And we're going to come into a dangling posture. Now, my legs are straight here. That feels okay for me. But if it doesn't, just bend your knees. Letting the belly come onto the thighs. And arms come over your head down. And if your hands are touching the floor, you could grab your elbows. If they're not, just let them hang. And we're going to try and let the whole body become heavy here. So we're going to stay here for a while. And since our head is a little lower than the head is, than the heart is, your head is going to start to feel heavy because all the blood's flowing towards your head. And that's exactly what we want. With the heart higher than the head, the heart doesn't have to work as hard to bring the blood towards the head. So we're relieving our hearts, trying to take a little bit of their workload off. And at the same time, we have this nice stretch for our lower back here. Regardless of how bent or straight your legs are, we have a little stretch for the lower back, and that's what we want to focus on here. With every exhale, letting the upper body melt further down. Letting the belly come more towards the thighs. And gravity is going to pull your upper body closer and closer to the mat. Pulling on that tissue in the lower back. Just slowly creating some length there. And maybe you feel your hamstrings mostly. Today we are focusing on the lower back, but that's very much connected to what is happening in the hamstrings. Often the hamstrings, if they're really tight, they pull on the hips and they tilt the hips slightly, causing a little bit of rounding for the lower back, which can cause irritation. So if we're trying to relieve the lower back, we also need to focus on those hamstrings. The more we're able to create space in the hamstrings, the more space the hips will have to tilt in whatever direction feels good for the back. So don't worry if you feel this posture more and more in the hamstrings instead of the lower back. That's totally fine. Just see if you can stay calm here and stay still. Really focusing on your breath. And try and deepen the in and exhalation. Releasing more and more. And we won't stay here for too much longer. Just half a minute more to go. And see if you can keep still in this half minute. If you can really let go of that last bit of resistance that might be there. I know this is not the most comfortable posture. So see if you can help your body to stay still and stay relaxed. Keeping the breath soft. All right, and then we'll take our last deep inhale. And last deep exhale. Good. If you were holding on to your elbows, you can release the hands first. And start to bend your knees. And we're going to come down onto the mat. And you could squat down first if you have that space. Take your time to let the blood flow back to the body. Get rid of that heavy feeling. And in your own pace, come down onto the mat. Straightening the legs out again. If the legs are really uncomfortable, just move them a bit. All right. Okay. Now again, we're going to take that book. I didn't bring it for nothing. We're going to place it down on the mat, and we're going to use it to lie down on. But instead of bringing it in the vertical line, we're going to bring it in a horizontal line. And we're going to lie down on it, making sure the block ends up between the shoulder blades. So we want the book to kind of lock our shoulder blades into place. All right, so placing it down, if you're using a block, same thing here. You can come down, lie down onto the book with your upper back. Chest is lifting, shoulders are rounding down alongside that block. And then we're gonna bend the knees, crossing the right leg over the left leg. And if you have space, you could cross it underneath as well, coming into eagle legs. Now from here, we're going to roll the knees over to the left side. Your head can come over to the right. And what you might notice is that the block is kind of pushing you back. So the block is keeping you from going really deep. You might see my knees are really far from touching the floor. And that's exactly what I want. By locking the shoulders into place, we move that stretch from maybe the middle part of the spine more towards the lower spine, creating a nice little stretch for the lower back. And here we're going to stay for a while. And if the legs are starting to tingle, they're no longer comfortable, just release that eagle leg, but try and stay on the block, stay in a twist. And then try and let the legs become heavy. Now there's two areas you could focus on here. You could either focus on that lower back area again. By releasing the legs, letting them be heavy, you create a deeper and deeper twist as you lie here. And you want the lower back to be the place where everything moves. And the second area you could focus on is the chest. We have the chest propped it up, but the shoulders are melting down alongside the book or alongside the block. And what this does is it creates a nice little opening for the front of the chest, the attachments of your chest muscle, your pectoral muscle. They get like a little stretch here as well. You want to enjoy that stretch as well. So see if you can focus on either one of these areas. And if you're really loving this pose, just let your breath come all the way through the chest, not moving the belly anymore with the breath. That way, with every inhale, we have more of an opening for the chest, and we keep that space in the belly to really go into a deep twist. So see if you can find heaviness with every exhale. Create space with every inhale. And staying here for 3 more breaths. Really giving you the time to sink a little deeper before we move to the other side. All right. Slowly on our next inhale, move the legs back to center, uncross them, coming all the way back. Stay on your book and just take a moment. We're going to move over to the other side, crossing the left leg over and maybe under the right. And again, rolling into that twist, moving the legs over to the left side. Your head can move over to the right. And again, you'll feel that block or a book poking your shoulder blades, pushing you back, pushing the chest back, keeping your chest in center, and having this twist move all the way down towards the lower back. And of course, there's always the option to uncross the legs a little bit, relieve the legs or the knees if you feel those. And focus on your breath. Letting the breath be deeper, a little slower. And see where there's space for you to sink further into this pose. Maybe you want to let the knees come closer to the floor. Or maybe you can focus on that chest, letting the chest rise up and the shoulders come down. Really using this pose to create space in the upper body and the chest. Create space for the heart and for the breath. And if you feel like your breath is getting stuck in your belly, just move it to the chest. Keep the belly still and keep that space for the twist. And the deeper you go in the twist for the lower back, the more it's going to move into the belly and the area of the intestines as well, making it harder to breathe through the belly. Completely normal. And even if you are in a really deep twist, see if you can maintain a deep breath. Really becoming heavier with every exhale. Releasing. And letting the whole body melt down. Now staying here for 3 more breaths. And then slowly let the knees come back to center. And releasing the legs. Staying on your book still. Coming all the way back to center. Try not to move too much, just taking a moment to notice the effects. All right, now we'll do one more posture on our book, just to benefit that upper body a little more. So I have 2 options. Option 1, if you are still okay in the lower back, you want to get that arch for the entire spine. We're going to move the arms overhead, then move the knees out to the side. And by moving the knees out, we are able to kind of tilt the hips from here to here. That way we have a little arch in the lower back, a nice rounding through the entire spine, through the chest and the shoulders. And you're going to see if you can stay calm here. Let the knees come further down. Let the arms come further down. Second option, if your lower back is starting to feel a little tired from all this pulling, we have the option to bring the knees together. I hope you can see a little. So bringing the knees together is going to allow me to push my lower back down into the floor. That way the lower back is flat and I have an opening just for the chest, for the upper body, for the shoulders, but the lower back is secure, it's relaxed. The knees can just melt together. So up to you. Maybe try both options, see which one you prefer, and pick one or the other. Personally, my lower back is still feeling fine, so I'm going to release it. I'm going to let the knees come out. And for both postures, you're going to focus on your upper body. So we want this opening coming from where the rib cage starts. And then you imagine with every inhale that you're expanding that rib cage out and up, that you're creating space between all those ribs, lifting your sternum up. And then with the exhale, the arms become heavy. The knees melt either out or more together. And then again, with the next inhale, expand through the upper body. Expand out and up, creating even more space. And by opening the chest like this, we're making sure the lungs stay healthy, they have space. And at the same time, the book between our shoulder blades is constantly helping the upper body to compress a little, which is going to relieve any tension that might be built up there. any tension from sitting all week. And all you need to do is surrender to gravity and allow gravity to pull you more down to the mat. Please make sure your arms are still soft. Your arms are feeling okay. If they start to tingle, just release a little, let them come out to the sides or bend the elbows. Making sure the body stays comfortable. Start to draw all the attention back to the body. Start to notice if there are any areas right now where you feel tension. Any areas that are resisting. Any areas that could use a little bit of extra attention. Releasing for these last couple minutes. Really taking the time to soften whatever needs softening. To slow down. We're gonna take one more deep inhale. And one more deep exhale. Okay. All right. You can slowly let your knees come back up if they were out. If the knees were together, just bring them apart. And let the arms come by your side. Creating a little bit of movement again for the legs. You could roll the hips a few times. Then we're slowly going to move off our book. Again, this could feel weird because we've been on it for quite a while. So you could just roll onto your side. Take a moment here. And then remove your book behind you. Remove your block. And lie down for a moment. Just taking the time to notice what is happening, notice if there's anything that the body needs right now. And then hugging the knees to the chest. We'll create a little bit of roundness. And if you're feeling really heavy, really relaxed, you can stay on your mat. If you prefer to end a little bit more woken up, you can also roll yourself up. Come to sitting, And we'll close off with a seated posture. Of course, if you're lying down, you're just lying in Shavasana. Seated, you can come to cross-legged seated position. You can come into a lotus position, whatever feels good here. And you're going to bring your elbow or your wrist, not elbows, onto the knees. Index finger and thumb are touching. You're going to let your chin come down to your chest. That way we're lengthening the neck. You can close your eyes or stare down. Look at the floor right in front of you. And we're going to focus on our breath here. Making our breath longer. And in your head you can count with the breath. Using 4 counts for the inhale. Hold it for 2. And 4 counts for the exhale. Hold it for 2. And 4 for the inhale. Hold it for 2. 4 for the exhale. Hold it for 2. And continue to breathe. And you can stay as long as you like here. Stay in your Shavasana for as long as you like. This is going to be the end of my class. I hope you guys have a lovely Sunday. I hope your lower back feels good after this. And stay healthy, stay safe, stay active, and stay grounded. Follow our classes for the following week, and I'd love to see you again. Thanks. All right. Oh, you kan niks zeggen? Oh ja. Ferdy says hi. He cannot speak, okay? Thanks. All right.